In California, sea otters were almost completely gone. There was just a small remnant group down in the Big Sur area, and that group has grown to about 3,000 animals in California. It's really a remarkable recovery. Sea otters really are the top predator in the kelp forest ecosystem. They eat the invertebrates that might otherwise consume the kelp. Therefore, the kelp flourishes, and all the animals that call the kelp home can flourish as well. So sea otters help create the biodiversity that's in the kelp forest. They help the kelp grow, which is extremely important. Kelp forests, they provide habitat for countless species that are important for fisheries, that are important for the biology of the ecosystems. Kelp also draws in and sequesters carbon from the atmosphere, which helps mitigate the effects of climate change. With so many species, the impact of humans is kind of a sad tale, particularly with sea otters. There used to be 250,000 or more sea otters along the entire west coast of North America, up through Canada and Alaska and around to Japan. They're almost all gone after the fur trade. Sea otters first got protections in the early 20th century through the first Seal Act, but it wasn't really until the Endangered Species Act was passed in 1973 that we really started looking at how to recover this population along California and up through areas like Alaska. And in California, with such a small starting population, a small remnant population, this group has really grown slowly, and the Endangered Species Act has really helped us focus on ways that we can manage the population and hopefully encourage them to continue growing and expanding their range. Sea otters, like all life, has value. They're just so impressive and so important for these nearshore ecosystems. I really want to see them survive forever. I think it's a good lesson in terms of how we look at wildlife, how we need to restore important species and not take such a toll on these incredible natural resources. The Endangered Species Act is landmark legislation that's provided protections for many species over the last 50 years. We hope the Act continues for at least another 50 years. We'd like to see it save species like the sea otter and other coastal marine species. Defenders is committed to supporting the Endangered Species Act by continuing to pressure our elected representatives to support the Act, by engaging in litigation when people violate the Act, and we really want to make sure that the government lives up to its responsibilities under the Act. By protecting iconic species like sea otters, the Endangered Species Act has really helped preserve habitats, preserve biodiversity in our ecosystems, and that translates into the food we eat, the air we breathe, and the coastlines that we enjoy.